Thank you for filling out the form and your interest in plant-based fitness. I am the CEO and the founder of Plant-Based Fitness here in Oakland, California. Over the past 3 years, we've helped more than 1,000 people change their lives. The story you're about to see is pretty cool. It's a 40-year-old woman who thought that she could never really change her body at this point. Basically, she just wanted to get out of pain. As we become older, it does become more difficult, but nothing is impossible using the plant-based fitness method. And I want you to watch this video so I can prove it to you.
Fitness was almost zero. Especially right before I came to plant-based fitness, one of the ways that I came to plant-based fitness, I was referred by a friend who saw how much I was struggling with my health. And I was a mom and working full-time, running my own business, and just had gotten really run down and had been working overtime, trying to help take care of the family, get my work done, and had not made any time over the course of at least 5+ years for myself. I had not made hardly any time for my own health and well-being. And I had come to a point where I had really bad repetitive stress injuries in both hands and arms due to not taking care of myself and working too much at my job. I am an editor, and it's just basically got to a tipping point where for about 4 months I had so much pain and discomfort in my hands and arms that I had to stop working. And it was a health crisis. And my friend said, been working out with plant-based fitness. I've seen a lot of gains in improved my health. And she was a mom as well, and a working mom. And so I said at that point I had gone to so many doctors and specialists who helped me a little bit, but they had gotten to a point where they said, we can't really help you that much anymore. So I said, okay, I feel like I don't have anything to lose. Let me try plant-based fitness. And that's where how I arrived at plant-based fitness and started. I was skeptical, I gotta be honest, because I had already, because I was in a health crisis mode and it had been 4 months in, I was in a really demoralized state. I would really start to give up hope that I would ever get better, and I had just a lot of fear of getting worse. So I remember that was my thought is, I'm almost more willing to be in the state I'm in than to get worse through doing exercise that maybe my body is not ready to do. And I had to really trust, I had to take a bit of a leap of faith that plant-based fitness and Gary would take me, like I said, I wanted baby steps, and that, I had to really trust that baby steps could be taken so that I wouldn't get, further injured, and I had to get over that. It was great. So Gary definitely heard me out and said, we will, take it at your pace. He understood that my situation was different than perhaps other clients who are coming in for, weight loss or wanting to take it to the next level for fitness, that I had actually health crisis and injuries. And that basically I was in both kind of a rehab mode, but also having not really had any exercise routine for, I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but easily, nothing that was part of my lifestyle for about almost 20 years. So having to really start from scratch, and my experience was excellent in that I felt really heard. I was able to develop trust in Gary's ability to be intuitive and know what my body needed and when to push me just enough to get stronger, but not push me further than my comfort zone. I think my first day was just repeating, I don't want to get worse. And I think on the first day, I remember Gary gave me a series of almost like tests to see where I was at. And I was cognizant that I had for 4 months not used my body for fear of getting worse, that I was resistant to doing some of the things like being asked to do a plank, which at the time I didn't even know what a plank was. But then this idea of leaning my body weight onto my arms and wrists, I remember thinking, that's a terrible idea, right? I was barely able to open a door or hold a glass of water. And Gary said, you can do this. I won't let anything happen to you. I would just want to see where you're at. And so I actually did a very short plank and then gained insight to the fact that my body was able to do things that I had started to assume that it couldn't. And so I started to build confidence from the first day. Oh, the results were amazing. I think a lot of it starting with just freeing up my mind, getting it out of the fearful zone, and I was downwardly spiraling into a cycle of fearing to use my body, and then my body starting to atrophy, and then different pains were starting to grow into my legs and feet, I think from both stress and not being used. And so the gains that I saw were me taking bigger, kind of being more open, being more open to trying new exercises and tapping into my body's memory of some muscle memory of being able to do exercise and get stronger, combined with Gary really doing an audit of my food, my diet, which I had never worked on. I always thought I ate somewhat healthy, but he really had me do food journaling and go on a low or really taking out a lot of inflammatory foods. So really reducing the amount of meat, carbs, and sugar in my diet, and alcohol, which wasn't much, but still really removing it completely. So I basically removed completely animal products, sugar. From the get-go, I started not only telling others about my amazing results and dramatic, in my mind, dramatic recovery, especially since I started from a place where I was really skeptical if I could recover at all. I probably hoped to just get a little bit better, but the fact that I've gotten not only completely better, but way stronger and more fit than I would say my whole life, and I'm proud to say I'm 48 now, and so that's saying a lot. I've never taken this good of care of myself. So I've told people that through my year and a half with plant-based fitness, but also a lot of my friends knew the health crisis I was in because they were there for me to help me, help cook, help carry groceries, and just call in to see how I was doing. They physically witnessed my both physical and mental transformation, and my diet, my eating habits really changed, and the things I brought to parties, were way healthier. Were like delicious vegan snacks, for example, or when we were together in restaurants, I would be eating vegan food. And so it was a combination of me telling them, y'all need to start taking better care of yourselves. He started to become the preacher. Because my friends are about the same age. Actually, a lot of them are almost 10 years younger than me, but a lot of them are already facing some of the same kind of health struggles as young parents, as new parents who basically work full time and are trying to juggle parenting and working, that I can see that they're running into health struggles too. So one of the big things that I've become is like their encourager of putting self-care at the front and center of their lives and exercising regularly. And I always, I've had a number of friends who were intrigued, and then sometimes, I'll tell them about everything that's involved, and then there is a tendency, and I think it's human nature for people to be, let me think about it, they're on the fence. And so the real talk that I've had to them is also the real talk that Gary gave me, which is in our lives, you can come to a point where the reality is you're either going to spend that money on getting better from a health crisis, which is what happened to me. I spent thousands out of pocket during my health crisis, and I only got a tiny bit better. And that's, put the fear in me enough for both health and reasons and financial reasons to invest in something that would be preventative, would get me better, but also put me on a path toward preventative wellness, preventative health. And so that's what I tell them. I was like, if you're concerned about the cost, which I think is it's understandable, but that's most people's concern. And these are people, a lot of them, it ranges. Some people, maybe it's harder for them resource-wise. But a lot of these people, they have the resources, but it's a mentality. They'll think, you want me to spend how much, on a trainer or a food program? But then if I kind of tell them, listen, you're either gonna pay this now or possibly, and statistically, a whole lot more someday in healthcare costs, and also the cost of the ripple effect of all the ways that it could end your career. Like, and I don't even think, it to them sometimes sounds like dramatic, but that almost happened to me. If I never got my hands better and I'm an editor and writer, that could end my career. I said, and so if you're really concerned about money, think about like the implications of your health to your career, and then let alone to your family. And that has actually, definitely caused a lot of people to, pay serious attention and start to really think seriously about making some changes in their life. I would say, I would say thank you so much. I have had, my life has been saved by what you have given me, and I've both had tapped into a belief in myself and my ability to be strong and almost 50 that I never would have imagined, the kind of, doing from push-ups to pull-ups to, these type of exercises that I couldn't even do in my 20s, giving me that belief in myself and my superpower, superwoman abilities that I never knew were inside me from somebody who was, a nerdy Chinese American girl who was bookish and not athletic, to have discovered that in myself now so, late in life is such a gift, but also the reminder of thank you for always pushing me to remind myself to put my health and fitness first when I feel like being a little bit, lax about it, because I'm better now, and so it's easy to start to take that for granted. But yes, just thank you so much for also making it fun, and for making it something that I look forward to each time, and for putting me on a path of wellness and health for the rest of my life, for this next, chapter of my life.
Wasn't that a great story? I want to make that happen for you too. We want to invite you through the same process that Sharline went through, which is an orientation. It helps you understand where you're at, where you need to go, how long it's going to take you to get there. All you got to do is fill out a short application below so we can know a little bit more about you, about your specific needs, and we'll be in touch shortly. Thank you.